Hello, in this video we will to program an ESP32 as a web server that provides a web page via Wi-Fi connection, a web page like this one that allows to control on off the state of two relays connected to the GPOs number 2 and number 15. These are relays that we will to drive via HTTP protocol in a web page served by the ESP32. With this microcontroller, we also going to drive an LCD display using the A2C bus. The display goes to show us the IP direction obtained via the HTTP protocol and the state, the on or off state of the relays number 1 and number 2. Okay, for to program the ESP32, I will use the Visual Studio Code. Visual Studio Code we can to download in the Visual Studio Code webpage, code.visualstudiocode.com/download, and we can to download for Windows or for Linux or for Mac. Once downloaded and installed, the Visual Studio Code appears like this. Here we go to this icon that means extensions to install an extension for to program the ESP. I will to install the extension called PlatformIO. This one I have already installed, so here I can to disable or uninstall, and this, as you can to read here, this is the plugin or the extension for appropriate for to program AdMil AVR, AdMil SAM, ESP32. This one is our kit, ESP3266, and even a lot of another ones platforms, even beloved 8051. Once you have installed the PlatformIO IDE, this icon will be here, and here we can to set up a new project in a platform I have already installed. You can here install a diverse platforms for the program. I have installed yet AdMil AVR for Arduinos. I have installed ESP32, ESP3266 for non-MCU devices, and in the board section you can find a lot of board, over than 100 boards for setup for your projects. Here in home we can to produce a new project. I have already one project, but here the project name. Here you can select the board, for example ESP32. This one we can choose an ESP IoT1, or that's the one we will use for to work, a specific ESP32 dev module. This is the framework where the functions are allocated. We will use the framework called Arduino, yes, and the project name, I have right now a project here in my Explorer. I have this project called ESP32 web server. Here I have the SRC code. It's a CPP, C++ code, and we will to take a quick overview of the code. It's a code with the extension CPP, not the extension INO. I'm based on the Ruiz Santos original server example, and this is edited, modified by me. My name is Osvaldo Cantone. I'm from Argentina, and I'm using the Arduino.h library and Wi-Fi liquid crystal to drive the LCD. I'm using this one called PCF8574. I had some troubles with the liquid crystal I2C library, so I use this one called P. Here in these two variables, const char, here you will put US SID of your Wi-Fi connection and the password, the key of your Wi-Fi connection. This instance a server, called server, listed in the port 80, and the connection starts in the loop functions. Well, an object class Wi-Fi client named client calls the available method of the server object and inspect incoming clients. Where a client is connected, we take the HTTP header and we send via the mode println an HTTP standard header, and in the header arrived we will to see for the string get, in this case /26/on. That means of this button was clicked. Just take a look of the URL. When I put this one, the URL changed to on. When I take again, the URL changed to off, and the other one the same. 27 stayed on and 27 stayed off. So evaluating the string of the URL, I had to take the decision of to put the relay output in state high or in state low. This is a brief explanation of how the source code works. So we will to program right now. Let me put this here, server part number 80, and here I can to build my code. I will stop to record the video to change the variables that contain my SSID and my password. Okay, it's done. Here are making the build. Link it with the libraries, and we have a success return. And now we make the upload. Go. Connecting to the ESP32 and writing the code. Okay, success. The code is uploaded to the ESP32. Right now, we can to see. This is a picture. But please believe me, it's a picture of my real device. Here, the IP is 10 plus 1 plus 0 plus 1 127, and in my browser I will do program. This one is HTTP, not HTTPS, so I am listening the port number 80, not 443, and I will to connect the two relays. And now you can to listen the sound of the relays. Perfect. This is how to program an ESP32 using Visual Studio Code. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope to be useful. Bye bye.